I was recently pointed in the direction of an aerial photograph showing what we see is a racetrack in the town of Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Being from Lebanon County, with a father from the city itself, this is a close to home opportunity to discover a new lost speedway. I'm Joe Donahue, and this is a report on Lebanon Fairgrounds Speedway. I have to start with a shout out to the guy who pointed me to the Speedway in the first place, my old high school robotics mentor, Joe Wolfling, affectionately known as Big Joe. He's done a lot for me, been a very important part of my development into who I am today, given me some great opportunities, and he has his own history within the sport. And being from there as well, I know this was also a cool opportunity to learn a little more about what's going on with this photograph. Lebanon, PA hosts a lot of lesser-known influence on the world of auto racing these days. Names of fame range from Toby Tobias and his family to Bobby Gerhart, Randy Wolf, LPS Racers, and even an Indy 500 winning relief driver, Cyrus Patchkey. It's a hardworking town, having been a hub for steel manufacturing for a long time. As expected, these Lebanon folk come across as a little rough around the edges, but very hardworking and well-skilled in trades and very good people, perfect patrons of auto racing. Traveling back in time, the Lebanon Valley Fair was held yearly at a fairgrounds right off 16th Street downtown. The fair hosted its share of horse races and was ripe for motorsports in a time where race cars were taking over in popularity and relative ease of access. Organized auto racing was first introduced to the track in 1935, although may have started earlier as a fair event, back when the AAA sanctioned many of the major races in the U.S. During this time, AAA racers had to buy a license to race with the series and were restricted from attending non-AAA events. Lebanon was non-AAA sanctioned, which was important for the development of the loyal drivers and fan base it created for itself. Local drivers like Mark Light, who was the track promoter for a while, Tommy Hinnerschitz, Ted Nyquist, and even 500 driver Cyrus Patchkey led the charge of what was then known as the Lebanon Gang. The track was known through its time as the Lebanon Fairgrounds, Fairgrounds Speedway, and Light Speedway, named for then-owner Mark Light. The regularity of races is not something that I found a lot of information about, but I did see that the races were bi-monthly for a while after the track grew past only being for fair use. It was not free from tragedy, as all racetracks are dangerous. A handful of drivers were injured at the track, as well as spectators, with some fatalities as well. This did not hinder the Speedway much, as it could pull as many as 10,000 spectators for racing events. What eventually led to the track's demise was the ban on auto racing due to World War II. The track was closed in 1940 because of this, never to be opened again. Drivers and operators grew out after the war to other businesses, and Oak Street went quiet from the roar of auto racing. Other dirt tracks came and went close by throughout the years, but none within the immediate space of the city of Lebanon. Over time, the site was purchased and used for farming and housing as the city of Lebanon grew. The facility was located just past the intersection of 16th and Oak Street to the west. It is now the roads of homes on Oakland Lane, Summit Court, Rita Lane, and Crims Court, about directly south of the new Rudders in West Lebanon. While you wouldn't expect it traveling in this space, there was a time where the land drew big-name racers from around the East Coast to go toe-to-toe with other outlaw dirt racers in front of thousands of diehard fans. In proper spirit and fashion, and living not too far from the area, I decided to take a trip over. So here I am, driving in on 16th Street, headed south, right past Garden Oaks, and we will come to the entrance to Rita Lane. I dropped my camera at this point and entered to the right. So now I drive in, and I'm going to be on Rita Lane, and I'm going to take a right on Oakland Road, just to the right here. And when I do that, I'm going to be sort of entering the area where turn 4 would have been. The track would have been to the outside, so to the right, more where the houses and their backyards are. But as you go through this corner, it sort of replicates the turn 4 area, which then takes you onto what was the front stretch. This was not the front stretch in terms of the road to enter the track, but this is where the main front area was. That tree line back there is actually where the physical track really was. This is sort of on the inside of the track where maybe a pit area would have been and where spectators would have been standing way too close to the cars. Coming to this turn, still on Oakland Road. This would have been the area where turn 1 sort of was, or at least the inside of the track. And then right past Summit Court into another little bend, and this is closer to the track itself. So this is more or less on top of where it would have been. And now you're driving through the area where turn 2 would be, still on Oakland Road. To the left is Rita Lane, and that follows the path of where the backstretch was. In a little roundabout way here, I've returned to Rita Lane. I've passed Oakland Road to the right. I'm now traveling to what here is Crimm's Court. This would have all sort of been more on the inside of the track, but Rita Lane pretty closely follows the area through the middle sort of back area of the track. So these houses to the left would have had a racetrack in their backyard. Passing Summit Court now, you're coming back into the area where turn 2 was again, and this is going to be putting you back on Oakland Road. Here I will be taking a right and going back sort of up the hill to where turn 1 is, a little bit further to the inside of the facility at this point. But that's the area. So that's what the Lebanon Fairgrounds Speedway, where it would have been, what it looks like today, and what it was all about. So I want to take a moment to thank Big Joe again for hooking me on the idea, getting me that original photograph, and getting me the idea to make this video. It took a little while, I know that, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody found it insightful, interesting, whatever you want to call it. If you did, you feel free to leave a like. I won't force you. You could share it with friends if you want, people who might appreciate knowing a little more about Central PA's history in motorsports. Thank you for your time. Hopefully we get to do more of these sorts of videos of this nature in the future, and hopefully, maybe we'll find a couple more interesting stories to tell. So in due time, hopefully we'll see you again. I'm Joe Donahue. Thank you for watching. Lebanon.